Commander, I believe we've just witnessed the opening phase of a human bonding protocol. Rash, xenocultural analyst grade 44, stood rigid before the main viewer, 6 eyes blinking out of sync. On the screen, 2 humans exchanged verbal aggression at what appeared to be a communal nutrient station, designated coffee shop. The female spoke first. "I don't date guys who wear sunglasses indoors." The male responded with a grin. "Lucky for me, these are prescription." A pause. Both looked away, smiled. Silence. Rash flinched. "They're clearly hostile," the security officer hissed. "Should I prepare a containment net?" "No," Rash said, voice tight. "They are not adversaries. This may be courtship." Gasps echoed through the observation chamber. "You're suggesting," Captain Trenal began slowly, "that insulting each other is part of their bonding process?" "Affirmative. Humans appear to value something called banter," Rash replied, pulling up archives. "It is a verbal duel designed to mask interest until mutual acknowledgement can occur." "That's inefficient," muttered the engineer. "Why not simply declare intent and proceed to pairing?" Rash shuddered. "That was our first attempt. It failed catastrophically." Archival playback. Test subject. For 3112A. Designation: Barry, human male. Mission: direct courtship. Barry: "Hi, you have symmetrical eyes. Your genetic compatibility rate with mine is 93.2%. Shall we attempt cohabitation?" Result: female subject threw iced beverage at Barry and called him creep. Barry retreated. He later claimed he was just trying to be upfront. Rash turned back to the footage. "Observe. Now she is pretending to check her communication device while glancing at him. She's ignoring him, yet remains in proximity," Trenal said. "A paradox. Negative. It is called playing hard to get." Rash zoomed in. "The key is plausible deniability of interest. They must perform attraction without admitting it." Silence. "Commander," Trenal said, "humans are terrifying." "Agreed." Rash had studied 14 sapient species. He'd seen war mating rituals, scent-based courtship, and even a culture where couples legally insulted each other before bonding for life. But nothing prepared him for Earth's flirting. "Report," said Captain Thalick, crossing his arms with that stiff posture that always meant trouble. Rash handed over his datapad. Preliminary conclusions. Romantic initiation among humans includes subroutines such as false disinterest, sarcasm, avoidance of clear emotional statements, and deliberate delay of gratification. Thalick blinked. "You're telling me they lie as affection?" Rash shifted uncomfortably. "Not entirely lies. More like behaviorally encrypted signals. They say, 'I don't care,' but mean, 'I hope you pursue me.' They roll eyes, but secretly want validation. It's a ritualized miscommunication pattern." "And it works?" "Statistically, alarmingly well." Thalick raised a brow. "Demonstrate." Rash froze. "Captain, you've spent 6 days watching their romantic content. Try it in the field." "I'm a socioanalyst, not a performer." "There's a human diplomat on board. Red hair. You said she smiles too often for baseline neutrality. Use that." Rash's dorsal fins twitched. Why was everyone suddenly invested in his humiliation? Still, orders were orders. Observation Bay Cafeteria, 1302 Galactic Standard Time. He approached the human woman with careful steps. Her name was Clara. Diplomatic envoy, level 2. Enjoyed caffeine-based stimulants, loud music, and cross-species banter. Currently, sipping coffee and reading something on a glowing tablet. "Your facial symmetry is within statistically favorable range," Rash said. She looked up. Thanks. I'm indifferent to it, of course. She blinked. Are you negging me? Jurash paused. Success? He cleared his throat sac. Possibly. She tilted her head. Bold strategy. Continue. Your caffeine addiction suggests emotional instability. She laughed, nearly choking. Wow, straight for the throat. Jurash tilted his head, genuinely confused. That was not an attack. It was flirtation. Or so I was told. Clara leaned forward. You're doing better than most humans, to be honest. He turned abruptly and walked away. Behind him, she said, Hey, wait, was that a move? Are you playing hard to get? He didn't answer. Protocol said to retreat after the first strike. Back in the lab, his fellow analysts hovered over the footage. She laughed. That's a sign of receptivity, said one. She leaned forward. Open posture, said another. You may have, the intern gasped. Successfully flirted. Jurash stared at the screen in silence. Something about the interaction felt wrong, yet also exciting. Was this what humans called chemistry? No, that was just neural misfiring from overexposure to their behavior loops. Probably. Still, he found himself replaying her laughter, slowing it down, analyzing her body language. Was she amused or attracted? The worst part was, he couldn't tell the difference anymore. After his awkward but strangely inspiring attempt at flirting, Jurash felt he'd reached the edge of understanding human psychology. And what he found was far deeper and more dangerous than he expected. His report read, Human relationships are a complex game of signals where honesty is considered weakness and manipulation is a form of trust. It sounded absurd, but his observations confirmed every word. Observations from the report. Human A denies direct emotional expression, but expects human B to persist despite rejection. Repeated hide-and-seek with attention is a crucial element of emotional bonding. Abuse of trust, followed by its restoration, serves as a test of relationship strength. Following the captain's orders, Jurash decided to push his experiments further. He attempted the emotional roller coaster method, alternating between cold distance and sudden warmth. First, he sent Clara contradictory messages, brief and detached. Then a tender message admitting vulnerability, but hinting uncertainty. Her reaction was instant and unpredictable. She ignored at first, then responded with bursts of emotion, then showed care. Dialogue snippet. Are you just playing games? She asked in a voice message. It's research, Jurash replied, trying to sound convincing. Research? So this is all just a game to you? She laughed. Playing means understanding each other, he whispered. Clara was silent. After several of these games, he realized that human love was an endless dance between trust and suspicion, between truth and deception. It was a challenge that broke logic and forced feeling. But what was more surprising, these manipulations didn't push people away. They drew them closer. In his quarters, Jurash recorded his latest conclusions. Human emotions are not mere reactions, but tools for creating bonds. The more complex and ambiguous the signals, the stronger the attachment. Controlling a partner's emotional state is an act of love. He understood no one from his species could simply replicate these rituals without losing their sanity. At night, when the ship was bathed in half-light, Jurash looked at the stars and thought, maybe this crazy game is what makes them resilient, strange, unpredictable, but alive. Jurash sat alone in his quarters, the flickering glow of the hollow screen casting shadows over his tentacles. The mission was nearing its end, and with it, his months-long study of human courtship rituals. What had started as a cold scientific inquiry had transformed into something far more personal and complex. His final report was due in less than 12 hours, yet the words refused to come out clear, clinical, and precise as protocol demanded. Because Jurash no longer saw the humans' crazy rituals as mere illogical chaos, he saw beauty, strength, vulnerability disguised as strength. In his report, he wrote, "Human mating behaviors are defined by paradox, affection expressed through deception, emotional intimacy built on strategic distance, and trust proven through manipulation. Though these behaviors confuse any logical analysis, they appear to serve as tests of endurance, adaptability, and emotional intelligence that bind individuals more deeply than any known species." He paused, leaning back in his chair, slowly exhaling through his respiratory sacs. Moreover, first-hand interaction revealed that this elaborate dance, despite its disorienting nature, creates genuine connection. It forces participants to engage not only intellect, but courage, the courage to expose weakness beneath layers of guardedness. Jurash replayed the memory again, the way Clara's laughter chimed like a delicate bell, the warmth of her smile piercing his carefully maintained facade. He could still feel the strange, alien sensation he struggled to name. Was it attraction? Affection? Or simply a glitch in his neural circuits caused by overexposure to human emotional complexity? Perhaps all of the above. The next day, on the bridge, Captain Thalick scrutinized Jurash's report with a skeptical brow. "So you're telling me humans intentionally deceive and confuse each other in their courtship rituals?" the captain asked. "And yet, this dysfunction is what strengthens their bonds." "Exactly," Jurash replied, his voice steady but filled with newfound respect. "Tests of patience, resilience, and emotional agility are essential. Their games are not frivolous, but necessary trials." Thalick sighed and chuckled softly. "I've commanded fleets in battle, but never expected the fiercest wars to be fought with emotions." Jurash smiled, a slow, genuine curl of his lips rare among his kind. "Sometimes," he said, "emotion is the deadliest weapon of all." Weeks later, Jurash stood on the observation deck, watching Earth's blue marble spin silently in the void. Behind him, a familiar voice broke the silence. "Still trying to figure us out?" Clara asked, stepping closer with a teasing smile. He turned, mimicking a human smile with a slight twitch of his lips. "Perhaps," Jurash admitted, "but I'm beginning to understand why anyone would want to." She reached out, lightly brushing his arm. "You're doing better than most humans," she said warmly. In that moment, Jurash realized the puzzle was no longer just about understanding a species. It was the beginning of his own journey, a journey toward real connection. And maybe, just maybe, that was the greatest discovery of all. Jurash stood on the observation deck, watching the blue and green swirl of Earth slowly turning in the vast emptiness of space. Each shade of color, the oceans, forests, clouds, now seemed more alive to him than any distant star in the galaxy. What had once been an inscrutable puzzle was becoming something close, something almost understood. He reflected on all he had learned during this mission: the strange human rituals, the mixed signals, the games played with emotions, and how beneath the seeming chaos lay a profound strength. The strength of vulnerability, courage, and the desperate desire to be understood. His final report to the Galactic Council was ready. But it wasn't just an academic document anymore. It had become a confession. A confession that these human games were not meaningless distractions, but rather a way to show how far a person would go to forge a connection, how fierce the hunger for trust and closeness could be. Suddenly, Clara approached. Her gaze was warm and sincere, the kind he now recognized. She smiled softly and said, "You've understood a lot, haven't you? Not just about us, but about yourself." Jurash nodded, words failing him. For the first time, he felt himself no longer just an observer. "This isn't just research," he whispered. "It's life." Clara took his tentacles gently in hers and added, "That means you're no longer just a spectator. You're a participant." In that moment, Jurash realized the greatest battle humans fight is not with weapons or technology, but with their feelings, their trust, and their understanding of one another. And it was precisely this battle that made them strong, alive, and real. He smiled, not like a scientist, but like a being who had just learned how to love. And somewhere out there, among the stars and the endless stretches of the universe, he knew this story was only just beginning.